There's a reason men are lost today. They've been told that strength is toxic, that danger is evil, that power must be tamed or shamed. But Machiavelli knew better. It is better to be feared than loved if you cannot be both. Because love is fleeting, respect is earned, but fear protects. You were born with a fire, but the world taught you to hide it, to shrink, to conform, to trade your edge for acceptance, and your soul for silence. But here's the truth. A man who cannot fight is not virtuous. He is harmless. And in this world, harmless men are stepped over, while dangerous men, disciplined and calm, build empires. This isn't about violence. It's about potential. This is about becoming dangerous, so you can choose restraint from strength, not from fear. This is Machiavelli's dark advice, and it begins with one hard truth. They told you to be nice, to smile, to serve, to be a good man. But what they never told you is that the world doesn't respect good men. It uses them. Because in a world ruled by wolves, the sheep are not admired. They're eaten. You were never meant to be harmless. You were meant to be disciplined, dangerous, and silent until required. A man who's only good is not a man. He's a tool, a soft-spoken shadow of what he could have been. Machiavelli said, "A man's worth is no greater than his ambitions." So ask yourself, where has your ambition gone? Buried under guilt? Muted by fear? Sold off for the approval of people who secretly don't respect you? They will not follow you because you're polite. They will follow you because you have the power to say no and the strength to walk alone. So what now? You've seen the lie. You've felt the fracture between who you are and who you were taught to be. Now it's time to rebuild, not into something soft, not into something pleasing, but into something clear, strong, and dangerous. You don't fix your life through fantasy. You do it through strategy, through small, ruthless shifts that break the spell and forge the man beneath the mask. Here are 5 principles you must start living now. Each one a strike against weakness. Each one a step back to the throne. 1. Stop apologizing for your intensity. Your depth, your standards, your fire. These make people uncomfortable. Good. Let them be. Weak men drown in softness. Strong men sharpen in solitude. 2. Learn to detect flattery. Machiavelli warned, flattery is the weapon of manipulators. If someone praises you too easily, they likely want something you don't see yet. 3. Kill the fear of being disliked. When you fear disapproval, you give others emotional control. Respect is earned when you no longer need their affection. 4. Audit every conversation. Ask yourself, am I speaking from my core or begging for approval? Truth isn't always liked, but it's always powerful. 5. Replace likability with clarity. People may like a pleasant face, but they follow a man who's clear, sharp, and unshaken. A gentle man is safe, but a dangerous man who chooses gentleness, that's who the world remembers. Become that man. One who cannot be moved, one who cannot be used, one who is feared in silence and followed in strength. This is only the beginning. Power isn't given. It's taken, then kept. Not by accident, but by understanding what power is. It's not loud. It's not aggressive. It's not even about status. Power is control of perception, of self, of consequence. And Machiavelli knew this better than anyone. He wrote not for idealists, but for those who dared to see the world as it is, not how they wished it to be. Machiavelli warned that morality alone is not enough. The man who plays clean in a dirty game loses, not because he's weak, but because he refuses to see the rules. Power flows to those who understand timing, who move in shadows, who control what others believe without revealing their true intentions. It is not virtue that protects the throne. It is foresight and the will to act without flinching. That is the nature of power, clarity without illusion, action without apology. If you keep hoping the world will reward you for being nice, you'll be eaten by those who were trained to hunt. This world respects what it fears and follows what it cannot manipulate. To reclaim your place in it, you must study power like a weapon and wield it with the calm of a king. So here's where it begins. 5 mental shifts you must embrace, not to dominate others, but to stop being dominated. Each one a rewiring of your instincts. Each one a commandment from the shadows. Stop assuming people mean well. Kindness is rare, self-interest is constant. Move with eyes open, not heart exposed. Master emotional control. He who cannot master his mood becomes a pawn. Power begins with stillness under fire. Use silence as a weapon. The quiet man makes others speak, revealing their thoughts, weaknesses, and plans. Position over popularity. Don't chase approval, chase leverage. Respect flows to those who control outcomes, not opinions. Predict behavior, not words. People lie, but patterns don't. Observe how they move, not just how they talk. Now you understand power. But what happens when others sense it in you? They'll test it, challenge it, try to break it. And that's when you'll face your next battle. They don't want the truth. They want the illusion of it, the appearance of kindness, the sound of virtue, the performance of morality. In a world ruled by perception, the mask is the weapon, and Machiavelli understood this with terrifying precision. Virtue to Machiavelli was not moral purity, it was usefulness, a strategic cloak to cover your real aim. Because truth, unfiltered, makes people uncomfortable. It disrupts the order they cling to. So instead, they follow the one who tells the beautiful lie, wrapped in charm, coated in righteousness. That's the paradox. To move in this world, you must sometimes wear the mask of virtue, not to deceive with malice, but to protect your mission from those too weak to see it. The man who shows everything loses everything, because in the open, you are predictable, vulnerable, easy to sabotage. Power is not about showing your heart. It's about protecting it and choosing who sees it. This isn't dishonesty, it's survival. So what does this mean for you? It means it's time to build a mask, not to hide who you are, but to shield your purpose while it matures. Here are 5 essential strategies you must embody if you want to survive a world that confuses honesty with weakness. Show intent, but never your plan. Let them know your direction, not your route. Mystery creates protection. Speak to their values, not yours. Influence flows from familiarity. Translate truth into their language, even if it's not your native tongue. Use praise as camouflage. The quickest way past resistance is approval. Praise disarms before you strike with reason. Smile while you build. People don't fear builders, they fear warriors. Smile, nod, build your empire quietly. Protect your emotional core. You owe the world performance, not vulnerability. Give them the mask, keep the soul guarded. But masks aren't just protection. They're also mirrors. Sometimes we wear them so long, we forget we put them on. The next danger isn't the world. It's the reflection you begin to believe. The most dangerous man in your life is the one you see in the mirror. Not because he's evil, but because he's undisciplined, emotional, blind to his patterns, controlled by triggers he doesn't even see. Machiavelli warned of external threats, but he also implied a deeper warning. If you cannot govern your own mind, you will never govern your life. You've been lied to again. They told you success is strategy, money, power, persuasion. But none of that matters if you crumble under your own emotions. Machiavellian thought doesn't mean coldness, it means clarity. And clarity begins where reactivity ends. Every fear you haven't faced, every craving you haven't conquered, every reaction you justify, that's your leash? You want freedom? You want strength? Then stop blaming enemies and start taming the one inside. So how do you begin the inner war? How do you cut through the noise and seize the throne in your own mind? It's not about perfection. It's about practice. A daily commitment to order the chaos within before the chaos outside devours you. Here are 5 brutal but essential shifts to begin that war. 1. Track emotional triggers ruthlessly. Write down what breaks your focus, what hijacks your peace. Awareness kills manipulation. 2. Delay all emotional reactions by 10 seconds. Train yourself to pause. In that pause, you reclaim power over the moment. 3. Cut the loops that weaken you. End the habits that numb your will-doomed scrolling. Fake validation, cheap dopamine. They are psychological warfare. 4. Establish one sacred daily discipline. It could be cold showers, journaling, silence. The act is not what matters. It's the command it gives your brain. I am in charge. 5. Build a ritual of internal check-ins. Ask, is this thought useful, or is it weakness in disguise? Build the muscle of inner interrogation. But once the enemy is subdued, another question rises. Now that you're no longer at war with yourself, what will you do with that power? Use it or lose it? You were not born to obey. You were born to choose, to act, to impose, to bend reality under the weight of your will. But somewhere along the way, you were taught that dominance is evil, that ambition is dangerous, that asserting yourself is arrogance. So you shrank, not because you were weak, but because you were conditioned to believe power made you bad. And now, you're afraid to take up space, to say what you want, to move like a man who has the right to win. Machiavelli didn't just talk about princes. He was talking to you, a man too afraid to lead his own life. Let's get one thing clear. Dominance isn't cruelty. It's clarity plus direction plus courage. The world is full of noise, of men waiting for permission, waiting to be picked, praised, saved. But Machiavelli knew, if you do not take the throne, someone else will. The world doesn't wait for the kind-hearted. It follows the committed, the decisive, the unapologetic. Dominate doesn't mean destroy. It means direct, command, shape, dominate your path, or be a pawn in someone else's. But how do you reclaim that will? How do you break the invisible leash that keeps you quiet, soft, and hesitant? You start with the mind. You build the habits. You act like a man who is done asking for permission. Here are 5 brutal but liberating shifts to wake up your inner king. 1. Set one non-negotiable goal. Choose one thing you will finish no matter what. That builds personal command. 2. Speak first in every room. Train yourself to be visible. Leaders are not silent observers. 3. Make decisive micro-choices daily. From food to schedule to posture, choose fast. Commit harder. Kill indecision at the root. 4. Control your frame in conflict. In arguments, don't chase approval, hold your ground. Lead the emotional tone of the room. 5. Visualize daily victory, not safety. Stop picturing survival. Picture impact, influence, direction. This rewires your psyche to move forward. But domination is only the beginning. The question isn't just how to act with power, it's how to carry it without losing yourself. That's where most men fall. You've gained the sword. Now can you wield it with mastery? You've built strength. You've embraced the dark. You've reclaimed your will, but none of it matters if you can't lead yourself, because power without discipline, that's not strength. That's just chaos in armor. It takes nothing to be impulsive, to rage, to indulge, to quit, but it takes everything to remain dangerous and disciplined, not ruled by emotion, but ruled by vision. This is where most men fall, not because they weren't strong, but because they couldn't command their own inner army. You don't need more motivation. You need self-rule. Machiavelli knew the greatest threat to any kingdom was always within: softness, comfort, delay, the slow decay that feels like rest but ends in ruin. And it's the same for you. The enemy isn't just out there. The enemy is the voice in your head saying, "Take a break. You've done enough. You'll start tomorrow." Self-command means you answer that voice with one word: no. Because you are not here to be comfortable. You're here to conquer your own nature, to lead yourself where others fold, to rise above your impulses and forge a mind that bows to no weakness. This is true sovereignty. So how do you lead yourself? How do you become a man who moves forward when no one's watching? Who does what's hard, especially when it's boring, quiet, or thankless? You follow these 5 codes of personal rule. 1. Win the first hour of every day. No snoozing, no distractions. Start with clarity and control. Your morning is your first battlefield. 2. Delay pleasure, not purpose. Train yourself to earn dopamine. Don't reach for numbing, reach for progress. 3. Do one hard thing daily on purpose. Seek discomfort deliberately. It sharpens your will and silences weakness. 4. Track the invisible battles. Keep a small log of wins. Resisting temptation, showing up, finishing. Self-mastery lives in micro-victories. 5. Guard your inputs ruthlessly. Your mind becomes what it consumes. Remove noise, fear, drama. Replace it with strategy, clarity, and truth. You don't need to be perfect, but you do need to be sovereign. Every man must ask himself, am I a servant to my moods, or the ruler of my mind? Because in the end, the world does not follow the loudest. It follows the most disciplined, the most composed, the most dangerous. Like if this hit you, subscribe to build your inner citadel. Drop a comment. What does ruthless self-command look like for you?